Joy 96.5, Justin here for a special edition. We're joined in studio by the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Colman. How's it going, Paul?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing very good.
Yes, you are. I can tell. I'm looking right at you.
Yes, I've been excited for this.
You gave me a good hug when I walked in.
I did, yeah.
Tell you what, the greeting at this radio station,
right?
Of all the greetings I've ever had in all the years I've done radio,
okay,
that was one of them.
We're all ready for you. Well, we were joking. That was one of them.
You missed it.
I did miss it.
That's okay.
I'm not brave.
That was a great greeting.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
It actually really was.
Well, you almost got here in time. The internet guy was here. We had people recording in the other booth. There was a woman on the couch.
It's all happening.
It's all happening. Yeah. We were all here.
And it's such a humble storefront.
Right.
And yet when you walk in, it's like, I don't know, it's like a menagerie of activity.
See, we always get confused with the clock store next door.
Oh.
So we guess if the people in the parking lot are clock people.
Okay. And there's a trophy store on the other side.
There is. Yeah. So
I checked it all out.
Okay, you were already on Google.
It's a good spot.
Okay, cool. So you're on tour right now in Canada.
Correct.
Something I found interesting when I was looking it up, you don't charge to get into your show at all, and you're taking donations.
Wait, what?
What? I know, it blew my mind. I was like,
They don't charge for my shows?
They don't?
Okay, yeah, that's because this is a very special tour. This is raising awareness and money for an amazing rehab facility in Atlantic Canada called Harvest House. Actually, Jarvis, who I'm traveling with, he says Harvest House.
Harvest House?
So just in case anyone didn't understand, the Australian version, it's Harvest House. And so we're traveling around, and I get to share my story, and we also share the stories of people who are at rock bottom and getting help.
So is there any connection you have to Harvest House? So how did this come about?
I'll try and make this as short as possible. Is half an hour okay for you?
That's fine. That's good. 45 minutes.
45. You're generous. I think I've come to realize in the last decade or so, in every one of us, there's this ticking time bomb if we don't deal with our stuff.
Okay.
So normally when you're younger, you get hurt. You get these arrows, right? That pain, whatever it is. Yeah. Could be the death of someone. It could be just being beaten up. It could be being rejected. Whatever it is, we have these arrows. And if we don't deal with them, they fester and they become like a ticking time bomb. Right. And at some point, whether it's spectacular or whether it's just by imploding, however it happens, it's going to go off.
Right, of course, yeah.
And I started to realize that a number of years ago when I started to face those things. And therefore, I would say I'm someone in recovery.
Okay.
Even though it's not from substances like alcohol and drugs, it's from things like shame, self-hatred, fear, anger, codependence. So therefore, 5 years ago, when Jarvis took me to Harvest House and I saw these guys that were at rock bottom and recovering from those exact same things, but they'd manifested through substance abuse, I related with them straight away.
Wow.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I've never even thought of it that way before.
Well, we're all in recovery.
Yeah.
Right? We're all recovering. And, honestly, sometimes it's much harder to let go of jealousy and rage than it is alcohol and cigarettes.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing at the same time, part of my recovery is that the funny thing about playing music, whether you're Chris Tomlin or whether you're Frank Sinatra, you get applauded. Well, not Frank, he's dead now, but you get applauded every 4 or 5 minutes.
Right.
And that's not very good for you.
I don't imagine.
It's not very good.
Right.
And then you get invited to talk about yourself, and then you're selling pictures of yourself.
Yeah.
And then suddenly people say pay an extra $30 to come meet you. It's not healthy for the human.
Right.
So as I started to really realize that, and as I'm a recovering egomaniac, to be able to travel around and put the focus on something other than yourself is very healthy. Wow. It's very healthy for you. So there's a whole lot of reasons, and I want to use my gifts and talents to help others, because no one gets into music to help others. You get into it because you want to be up there and you want to be in the lights, and then suddenly you realize, oh, this is not very helpful. And so that's a big reason. But the work that's being done there is unbelievable. It's just incredible. The redemption that's happening in these people's lives. We show videos during the concert. You'll see them tonight. Of just people that have come in there destitute and are walking out built up and stronger, and it's incredible. And some of them are actually now working for Harvest
No
House.
way. Wow.
Yeah, we there was a kid that went in there and we met him and he studied at Harvard.
Wow. Wow.
Right?
Yeah,
so it's really incredible. So that's what this is about. So therefore, There's a small amount of money that the church group might give me.
Gotcha.
But they don't charge the public for it.
Okay.
And then we're trying to raise 10 grand on this tour so far.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be like, so how do you get paid?
Well, you could have asked that.
No, I don't.
I would have said mind your own business.
Yeah, exactly.
Not really. Maybe.
So we have a CD to give away here too that you brought in.
Right.
We're gonna give that away. So
You're going to give this away?
We're gonna give it away.
I gave it to you. Are you re-gifting straight away
No,
already?
I didn't know that.
I'm kidding. I'll bring another one in. You can give this one away.
Okay, perfect.
This is a CD called Paul Colman Most Requested.
Okay.
Something you probably should know is that I requested them.
Okay.
So it's, but I couldn't write that on the album. Doesn't seem very humble.
I pretended to take Twitter requests and I just was like,
No, these are the songs most people ask for.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that in.
All seven of the people.
I'll just open it and get it in and then we'll give it.
Why not? Why not?
Right? All right, so we're gonna play a song. You even chose this song.
Okay, I did.
So I
requested this.
You requested this.
Yeah.
One thing. We're gonna play that right now. We're gonna come back and have a little bit. We have a little bit more here with Paul Colman.
This is 2004.
Wow.
Produced by Ed Cash.
So we're going way back.
Oh, we're going way back, baby.
Here we go. This is the one thing, Paul Colman, right here.
If you don't like this or you've never heard of this, this is my most famous song, so you'll understand where my career's at.
So you've been to Canada a lot, right?
Actually, the truth is, I think I've been here like 20 or 25 times.
Yeah, you have been.
I started back with the Paul Colman Trio.
Right.
Speaking of Egomaniac, that was a band I named.
Named after myself.
Could have been a narcissistic phase that I'm in recovery from. No, that was like in 2001, maybe?
Okay. Yeah,
2001, 2002.
Yeah?
Yeah, we were with CMC up
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Steve Nicole.
Wow.
One of my favourite Canadians.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were up here. And then I think I was here in Fredericton for Worship Together.
Oh, okay.
Like
that
about
was
7 years
outside
ago.
Or somewhere they did
Yeah, about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And then since then, with Harvest House, I've been to,
Wow.
I like this town.
That's
Fredtown,
cool.
Jarvis.
Fredtown.
Is that right?
Yeah, I forgot.
Fredtown.
It's close.
Fredtown.
So something I like about you, and okay, this is gonna get deep.
It's impossible to get this in writing if I like it.
Well, something I like about you is you're real. You don't
Okay.
put on. I've interviewed different artists.
You met me at a good time.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm not gonna name names or anything.
Okay.
They're great guys, but they're not. They're just doing the scripted thing. They're not doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't
Right.
go. You don't get. glimpses
Maybe
of
they didn't do
personality.
5 years as a wedding singer.
Maybe.
That'll bring it out of a man.
That'll do it.
No, you met me at a good time. I definitely used to have the biggest mask I knew of.
Right. Wow.
But the other thing too is most musicians are introverts, and most of them don't have. There's eight established forms of intelligence.
Okay.
And one of them is the ability to put words from your brain into your mouth.
Okay.
Most musicians are introverts, and ironically, they have that gift when it comes to writing music,
Right.
but not when it comes to thinking on the spot.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why they feel scripted is not necessarily because they're fake, it's because they don't have the gift of the gab.
They just don't know how to do it.
Right.
Okay.
And so what they do is they spend time writing down and learning what they say because they want to say something good.
That makes sense.
Now, having said that, I'm sure there's a small percentage of people that are a bit phony.
Right.
But what I'm saying is most of them,
Right.
they like Peter Furler from the Newsboys. When I joined the band back in 2000 and whatever, I convinced him to improvise a little bit in the next show.
Wow.
And it completely fell apart. And he said, "I'm never doing that again."
Because everything was all to.
Yeah, and it wasn't
everything was
because
in a row, right?
because he didn't want to. It's just because that wasn't really his ability.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Right. That's not something you ever would have known because seeing him play, you think he's like this. He's a great showman.
And he really is that guy, but he's
He
also
is.
a high functioning introvert.
Wow.
And he's he's so funny actually. When I first got to know him in the '90s, he was like, "How come you never drop over?" And so I dropped over, and he said, "What are you doing here?"
You weren't supposed to actually come.
Well, it's more just because he's an introvert, but he's like one of the greatest people I've ever met.
Oh, that's great.
So I think that's one of the reasons why it might seem scripted is just people don't have that gift of the
That's a
gab,
great- that's a
whereas
great
I
insight.
have that, which might make me seem more real. But
Right.
like anyone, I've battled with my own masks as well.
That's incredible.
Maybe one of my masks was seeming real.
Oh, that's very meta.
You just dropped 3 mics here right now. You just
Wow.
didn't hear it.
So you're
Maybe.
It's all a show right now.
No, not now.
Before.
Not after 8 years of therapy and a good solid divorce.
Okay.
I've really faced a lot of my stuff.
Right.
And so what you're seeing now is more like the person I am on stage is much closer to the person I am off stage, but it never used to be that way.
Right. That's really interesting.
But I was very, very good at faking it.
Wow. I bet you were.
Because
being in the realm you're in,
right.
you would have to. Because if you come out, someone's going to put it up on the internet. This guy's a jerk.
Well, yeah. Well, my second therapist said there was onstage Paul and backstage Paul.
Wow. And
onstage Paul, greatest guy in the world. Backstage Paul was quite nasty, and that was the one that my ex-wife knew.
Okay.
And I never beat her, and there was no other people involved, and there was no substances. But I was a very, very difficult person to live with, because I would go out there and look like this super great guy, but the truth is I was very angry. I got beaten up and kicked out of everywhere, and I never fought back when I was a kid. It just kind of, like those arrows, it just kind of went in, and the way I could try to protect myself was through anger. And an angry person is no fun to live with.
No, I don't imagine.
And I didn't want to be angry, and I didn't want to be full of fear, but I just was so full of shame as well that I didn't know any other way. Wow. So, there's a lot going on when people come to a place like this, and it's not easy for most people.
Right.
Matter of fact, when I was with the Newsboys, they used to put me in a certain spot on the meet and greet line so that I couldn't talk to people as much as I wanted to.
No way.
Because that was my favorite time.
Okay.
But they had like 1,000 people they had to get through. And the second guy on the first night that I was in the band, so where are you from? Where did you grow up? Like, we got to put Colman in a different spot.
You're holding the line up.
Oh, that's because that was my favorite bit,
Yeah.
But that's not a derogatory towards them.
Right.
It's just that I was a different cat,
Right. That's incredible.
Well,
wow.
It's just different, isn't it?
No, it is, yeah.
It's just different.
And, I read that about you. I forget where it was, but it said that one night, maybe it was your bio, one night you were on the tour bus and you were just like, we're not watching TV tonight, we're going to talk.
Oh, I've done that a few times.
I'm sure you have.
A couple of years ago, there was a show I was doing, and when the other band, they had their own dressing room, and there was like 7 of them, and I had my own dressing room. And when they were on stage sound checking, I took all their stuff and put it in my room, and I put their name on my room as well, and then I locked their door.
Wow. And
so they came back and they walked into my room, and I go, this is our dressing room. But that was our dressing room. I said, I don't want to sit here by myself. What am I going to do? I don't want to talk to me. I hate me. Yeah, so I like that stuff.
So we have something interesting here.
Okay.
You mentioned, and I didn't know this.
Okay.
You said that Newsboys, this song coming up.
Yeah.
You co-wrote this song.
I did. Peter and I wrote this.
Wow. So how did that come about? You were in the Newsboys.
I was. Well, the thing is,
we didn't say that yet.
What I discovered was that Peter didn't really need much help.
Okay.
So I just thought, I will wait in the studio all day, every day, just in case he needs a little bit of help. And on this occasion, he was working on this song, and I thought, oh, that sounds good.
Wow.
And he's so prolific and has so many incredible songs. He was like, yeah, it's okay. And I go, no, dude, this is a good one.
This is a good song.
So I sort of helped him along with it, but the best bits are probably still him.
Okay.
But I love this
we'll
song.
say. I
do love this song.
It is a good song.
Yeah. It's paid for some ballet lessons over the years.
I bet you. In I had friends that danced down the aisle to this song. Like
Really?
When that was on YouTube, remember that went viral to dance down the aisle? I don't know if you remember that.
No.
So it was a video that went viral to do it. So they did it at their wedding in Prince Edward Island. They came down and they all danced, and it was
That's
awesome.
awesome.
The whole wedding party.
We actually shot the official video for this in Uganda, which was amazing.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they were just made up this dance on the spot.
Wow.
Those beautiful people.
That's beautiful.
Let's hear it. I haven't
all
heard
right,
it for
so
a
let's
while.
play it. We're gonna play something beautiful right here on the special edition with Paul Colman. And what I love about you is you don't follow conventions about what people think like a Christian artist should be. And you were just like, I loved you shared the Dave Chappelle. I love your disclaimer at the start.
What did I say?
You were just like, kids under 12 because
under 18.
Under 18 shouldn't be watching it.
Don't watch this without parental.
Yes,
that's right.
And then under 25, your brain is still developing.
yeah, because their hypothalamus is not developed, which makes decisions.
Right.
But then I think I said, and if you're put off by bad language, please, and if you can't look past it and see someone's heart, then I wish you could, but don't watch it.
Right. That's good.
Well,
and I love that you do that because a lot, you got to protect your image, right?
But here's the thing, and yes, I am brave like that, but I will tell you the truth. I don't really have a career.
Okay.
I don't have a Christian music career.
Right.
I did, but I don't have one. Right. So there's nothing to damage.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
The only world that the only genre of music where anyone really knew about me was Christian music, and that's not really what I write in terms of
Right.
what it sounds like.
Okay.
Now, I think my songs are definitely gospel songs, and
Right.
they all come from my faith.
Of
But in
course.
terms of what that genre is defined as, in
Mhm.
terms of the lyric being kind of fairly obviously about Jesus,
Yeah.
I don't really write those kind of songs very much. I
Okay.
tried to, but it's not really my sweet spot. So while I'm a Christian and while I love music, I don't really write Christian music.
Oh,
Does that make
good.
sense?
It does make sense.
So the
Totally.
stuff, the one thing that you heard, even
Mhm.
Something Beautiful, neither of those songs mention God, Jesus, tomb, cross.
Okay.
But as far as
yeah.
I'm concerned, they're running right towards Jesus.
They are for sure.
But
In a
they
different
don't
way.
sort of make it obvious.
Oh, that's
So therefore, I don't have an audience to lose really.
No. Well, and then you were talking about the other way you were talking about the family on Netflix who you had watched that documentary.
Oh,
I just like how you comment on things and you don't hold
Right.
anything back, and it's good.
But I try very hard. Like I actually write things and then I edit them.
Okay.
I really do.
You have to edit it.
I mean, you know what it's like in life.
I do.
You write an email and you send half of them.
Right. Well, I can't imagine. Even from my perspective, I work for a Christian radio station.
You gotta be careful.
So on my Instagram, and I'm not anything. I'm just
No.
a guy in a small town. But for my
You're
job's
something
sake,
to me, Justin.
thank you. Well, I got your number now, so
You
we're
totally
gonna be
do. I
BFFs.
just texted
You
you.
did. So that's cool. And there's one thing I wanted to. You did a Larry Norman tribute
I
concert.
did. I do them a few times.
You do that all the time.
I do
That's
them in
cool.
Europe.
Oh wow! Because are they big fans over there?
Well, a friend of mine in Norway that I met
Mhm.
15 years ago, and is the reason why I tour over there a lot. He was Larry Norman's guy. He
Okay.
brought Larry Norman, Andre Crouch, Randy
Right.
Stonehill, all these people. He brought them to
Mhm.
Scandinavia and
Wow.
to Europe. He was the guy that toured around with them, and so there is a following for Larry's music
Wow.
over there.
That's incredible.
And so I love Larry Norman. He was
Mhm.
my inspiration growing up when I was 11 and
Right.
I saw him play. I'm like, I want to do that.
That's
The thing that was amazing about Larry Norman, if you've never heard of him, he wrote songs about everything.
Mhm.
It was like he had the Bible in one hand and the newspaper in the other. You know what I mean?
I love it.
He wrote protest songs.
Yep.
He wrote songs about the end times. He wrote
Mhm.
straight up gospel songs.
Mhm.
He wrote a massive array of songs. If his songs were like a feast,
Right.
it was like a smorgasbord.
Wow.
Today with Christian music, it feels like we're just serving up lasagna
Yeah.
lyrically.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, I do
lyrically,
know what you
there's
mean.
one type of lyric that's
Yeah.
accepted,
It has
and
to
it's
have a
usually telling God,
rivers and
right, rivers, oceans,
Yeah.
fire,
Right.
you know. And I get it, because lyrically it is a tough genre because there's only so much you can say.
Yeah.
But it used to be with Larry Norman. And so when I go over there, I share my story of meeting him and having him over dinner and playing in his band and opening for him. And in the end, the idea is to say, hey, listen, we can't run away from the world.
Right.
I mean, what we like to do is let's put our kids in a Christian school, we listen to a Christian radio station, we go to a Christian college, we go to a Christian church, we live in a Christian cul-de-sac. And it's like, I get it.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. But we're not supposed to run away. We're supposed to be in the middle of the fight. We're supposed to be in the middle of the protest, in the middle of the street, bringing peace. We're supposed to be hugging people at parades.
Wow.
You know,
That's
and what I mean?
good.
And Larry,
I
for
get what you
me,
mean.
Larry is that guy.
Yeah.
He was there. He sang at the White House.
Right. Well, I was going to say that one of the, I don't know which president it was.
Nixon.
He got up and he said, they told me not to sing anything political. And then he proceeded to sing the most political song I've ever heard.
And to quote him directly, because I'm an uber fan.
You do it.
No, you just about got it right. He
Yeah.
said, the special aide of the president came to me before I sang and said, don't sing or say anything political or religious. And he said, I didn't know any Neil Diamond songs. And then he sings a song called The Great American Novel.
Yeah.
I was born and raised an orphan in a land that once was free, in a land that poured its love out on the moon. You kill a black man at midnight just for talking to your daughter. And you make his wife your mistress and you leave her without water. And the sheet you wear upon your face is the sheet your children sleep on. And at night you say a prayer you don't believe, but you keep on.
Wow.
Now this is from a Christian
Can you
artist.
imagine?
This is from a Christian artist. So here's my question. Where are the protest songs from Christian artists these days?
No.
You know what we're doing?
Yeah.
We're telling God what he already knows.
Wow.
I think Jesus is going, well, this may be wrong. And a matter of fact, I'm an Australian, which means I'm a convict, which means there's probably a fair chance
That's
this
probably
is
so.
wrong.
Okay.
Although if it's correct and God's speaking through Australians, it's probably the end times. But I think sometimes Jesus is going, hey, listen, guys, I gave you all this talent and these thoughts. And maybe give me 3 or 4 songs per record that tells me who I am and let people sing those. That's awesome.
Wow.
But for the rest, would you please write stories about people that don't know who they are?
Yeah.
and don't make it cheesy, and don't necessarily land the plane.
Wow.
Leave it a little open, because you know what? Holy Spirit knows how to land the plane better than you do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've sort of got stuck into this very small lyrical plate,
I agree with you.
and it's all lasagna.
Yeah, wow.
So anyway, I'm not an anti-lasagna person.
See, this is why I'm really into a lot of Christian hip hop lately. I feel like
Right.
play guys like Andy Mineo and they don't pull punches.
Right.
That's why I connect with them.
Right. And there's bands like Jars of Clay, and there's people like
Yeah.
Steve Taylor and Derek Webb, and there's people
Mhm.
like
Oh,
Switchfoot and those
yeah.
guys that have never pulled the punch. No,
No.
they haven't gone on that track.
Exactly.
That's now not to say
Of course.
that singing vertical songs of praise to God is not good. That should be on the table.
Mhm.
I'm just saying I don't want every meal like that.
Right. You gotta have
That's
a little
all.
spice.
That's
right?
all I'm saying.
That's good.
And we've got the God of creativity.
Right.
We should be writing about what's happening in the world politically. We should be writing about the refugee situation.
Absolutely.
We should be right in the middle of the debates, asking questions.
So what do you think if Larry Norman were to sing that song at the White House today? What do you think? Would he even be invited? We don't want to get too
Let
much
me
into
answer
the
it by
talk.
saying this.
Okay.
Before the Trump election,
Mhm.
I was playing golf with a friend of mine who's a very, very conservative,
Right.
gun-owning Republican. And he said, now, I don't want to make this a long conversation, but who are you voting for? And I said, it's not going to be a long conversation. I can't vote.
I love it.
So therefore, I'm not going to comment
You're
on
going to plead
that.
the fifth.
I don't have a dog in the fight.
I love it. All right, so we have a Paul Colman CD here right now.
Oh my gosh,
And
what should they
take a
do
call.
for it?
What do you want them to do? Do you want them to sing you a song or
I
something?
think just honestly, if there's anyone listening to me speak right now,
Right.
they should have it.
Okay.
Because they put up with a lot already.
Here we go. So give us a call, 454-9600. And the
That
CD
number
is
again.
yours. 454-9600. We're going to go to Lauren Daigle, and then we have one more. We're going to come back one more time.
Do you mean Adele?
Adele, yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
We have Adele right here.
My bad.
Oh, look. You're not wrong.
No. Adele plus Jesus equals Lauren Daigle.
Exactly. Here we go. Lauren Daigle. Joy 96.5. Justin here. That was Lauren Daigle.
No, she's awesome.
Oh, I know she is.
She's awesome. Sorry
She's
if
a
that was
wonderful
offensive.
artist.
She's
No,
superb.
and I saw recently one of her concerts she was at, she just stopped it right up, started singing like an old church hymn, and they did like an old worship
Oh,
service.
beautiful.
Just out of nowhere. She just felt the spirit moving.
Yeah,
and
she's a keeper.
Oh yeah.
She's a keeper.
She's wonderful. So you're in town playing some concerts.
I am.
So for someone that doesn't know what a Paul Colman show is like, why don't you tell us?
How long have we got?
10 minutes till the next show starts. So.
Well, tonight we're at Christ Central Church.
Yep.
Help me with the address on
Yeah.
that one. Christ Central Church. The only reason I don't know is because Jarvis always drives.
Okay.
But I'll find it for you. Don't you worry while we're talking.
Okay, perfect.
I'll prove that I can multitask.
I have your bands in town, 487 Brunswick Street.
Oh, how about that? 487 Brunswick Street. Now, basically, and tomorrow night, by the way, at Brunswick Street.
Brunswick Street Baptist.
That's-
and everybody knows where that is. I probably don't have to say.
Okay.
That's a pretty iconic.
Well, the good thing, it's 487 Brunswick Street. Yes,
Yeah.
that's Christ Central. Well, a lot of fun.
Right.
Um,
It's a mediocre show.
well, sometimes.
Right.
I like to tell stories. I like to make people laugh. I don't plan on making them laugh, but for me, the audience is the focus because I've done these songs so many times that if I just thought of them,
Right.
I'm so over myself. I'm so done with that. So the songs are really vehicles to get to people, and so I'm looking at them. And usually, I mean, there's always something that hasn't happened.
Right.
The first time or last time I played there, this is the third year in a row I've played there. There was a guy sitting in the front row, really, honestly, just from his looked like a homeless guy. And I asked him how he was there, and he said, I was in Dorchester prison last time he played, and I got out and I wanted to come and see you play.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I realized, oh no, wait, that's the pastor, that's Mark. Not really, but he's listening, so I thought I'd make him laugh. But they're fun, they're interactive.
Right.
And I share my story. I talk in some way, shape or form. I will talk about the fact that for most of my life, I have not run my life on how God sees me.
Right.
Because he says, you're my kid.
Yep.
And I love you. But most of the time, I even think, honestly, I may be wrong. I've sung in 60 countries, every province of Canada, every state of America. Mark just said, nice one. He's the pastor, he's listening. He's texting me.
That's awesome.
He's a good man, despite the fact that he's from England, but he's a good man. But inside the church, we have a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's this feeling like you can't talk about that.
Yeah.
And so by sharing my story of recovering from all these things like being an approval junkie,
mm-hmm.
I'm not really looking for God. If you walk into a room and you don't feel approved of, it means that you don't understand the way God sees you.
Oh, that's good.
And so most of my life, I've been an approval junkie.
Mm-hmm.
I've, to an audience, to a room, to friends, anywhere in my marriage. Am I okay? Am I okay?
Right.
The problem with that is you're needy.
Yeah.
And you're sucking the life out of somebody.
Wow.
And most of my life's been like that. So it's only been in the last decade that I've started to understand how God feels towards me. So when I came in here this radio station today,
mm-hmm.
I'd like you to like me, Justin. But the fact is I don't need you to.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you understand? That's like coming out of jail.
Wow.
So I share about those kind of things and we have a lot of fun. I have a great friend of mine, Dean Richardson,
mm-hmm.
who's playing with me the next 2 nights. He's from Maine and we've worked together in the studio.
Okay.
So it's just fun. This first show tonight, I love Mark and Debbie, their family. They're actually from England.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 2 beautiful kids and I've become great friends with them. Mark was just down in Nashville visiting with me and
nice.
His son Josh was heading to a camp. So usually it's people become friends.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing I love the most. But then it extends into the audience and
that's incredible.
it's just wonderful, wonderful people. So tonight will be a bit more intimate
mm-hmm.
than tomorrow night. It's a smaller room.
Right.
My advice would be go to both.
Okay.
I mean, that's me. I have to, so that's why I'm saying that.
You don't have a choice.
But they'll be completely different.
Oh, wow.
They'll be different shows. Like they're never the same.
See, I'm supposed to have a board games night with my brother
do
tonight.
Do that.
Sure.
Board games, yeah. Board games.
I mean,
and
I can
family.
go after.
That is true. Family first.
That's true.
Family first. What board games?
I don't. Well, we play. You want to know?
No.
Oh, it's okay. You don't care.
I mean, is it something racy like Cluedo?
No, not at all.
Like
It's a game that you use your phone for. It's called Werewolves, and you kind of it like tells you to do things, and it's not like a regular board game.
Okay. Werewolves, Christian radio.
We're twisted, so
a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, that's cool. Go see your family. Come see me tomorrow.
Perfect. Yes. And you might do some impressions. Is that what I hear?
You never know.
Never know.
Now, funnily enough, when I was in the Newsboys, I used to do this version of Bob Dylan singing "Shine."
Okay.
Shine, make 'em wonder what you got. Make 'em wish that they were not on the outside looking bored. Everybody's got to shine.
I love
now, I did it in the bus, and then Peter kept making me do it in concerts. We were playing at Angel Stadium to 60,000 people in Anaheim, and he makes me do it. I'm like, dude, this is a revival place.
Wow.
What are you doing? So sometimes I do impersonation.
I love it.
You never know.
No, it's good.
You never know, mate.
So tonight, are you going to be throwing out I've seen you at Soul Fest many times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love Soul
My
Fest.
bottles right here. I was just at the one in August.
Oh, you were?
We were. You know, I was at your show there too.
Which one?
You played in the Mercy Street.
Oh yeah, that was a good show.
It
Did you
was
see
good.
my kids on stage?
I did. Well, I heard I didn't see your kids on stage. I was in there for just a little bit of it. But I heard that your songwriting session, everyone was going on and how great it was.
Oh, it's brilliant. You know why? I don't really play any of my songs, and I don't teach on songwriting. But we just get people up who would never be heard.
Right.
So even though it's called a songwriting session, it's much more the fact that I said to Dan, who runs the festival, I said, you know, there's a certain select group of little Christian rock stars that get to share their stories, but there's so many people who have songs and there's no way they can play.
Right.
I said, let me do a songwriting seminar. So I've been doing it for like 8 years
You
now.
have been, yeah.
And people just get up, and you should see some of the people that get up there.
Wow. Like they're phenomenal.
Unbelievable. But also some people are actually, it's their first time singing and they don't produce what they can produce, and yet it's great for them and we encourage them. That's my favourite thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're going to do the Aussie.
Probably. Yeah, you only get used to
that's classic, right?
Yeah. Well, see, this part of Canada and the Northeast, I just love this part of the world.
Okay.
It's one of my favourite places.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Mate.
I love it.
I love it. Bring your favourite atheist and your favourite Christian tonight.
Okay, I will.
I mean, you know, that's free. So if you don't like it, you just leave. Go and find Robert Plant walking down the street
right,
somewhere.
exactly, because Harvest is in town tonight.
Oh, trust me, I know.
You know, that's where you're going.
We just had coffee with him just before.
Oh, no way.
No.
Okay, I saw he was walking around.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But I'm about to go and have early lunch with Mark, so that should be interesting.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you so much.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, coming up next, we have Aaron on the social hour. He's going to be in here. And to take you there, got some Building 429. Fear no more.
Oh,
right here.
good.
Make sure to check out Paul Coleman tonight.
Totally.
Central.
And tomorrow night.
And tomorrow night.